That's a shame. Well, hopefully it won't be too bad. My brother-in-law says it's going to snow here, and I keep telling him to bite his tongue.
Hey, better.
That's the reason I moved to Florida. I don't want to see any of that stuff. I've seen enough.
All right, enough. We have a guest.
Yay!
Let me go ahead and bring up my information. I hope I get this right. If not, Miss Summers will correct me.
I'm sure she will.
Dusty Summers. It's fair to say that she's an active dancer, magician. She's an MC. She is the author of not one, but 4 books. Has appeared all over the United States and Canada over her 24 years as an entertainer. She's an Arizona native. She has owned her own clubs, owned and operated her own clubs in San Angelo and Arlington, Texas. She is a Las Vegas resident. She recently retired from her job as a pit boss at Circus Hotel and Casino. And her most recent book, which we'll get to, is the... Well, hang on, Dusty, hang on. I know I took that note because it's very important to me. Oh, Miss Summers, what is the latest, the name of your latest book, please?
I believe the latest one was, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I can teach you to play blackjack.
That's it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Dusty Summers can teach you to play blackjack. Dusty Summers, welcome to the Mix Show.
Thank you.
Can you hear us okay?
I can hear you.
Oh.
Welcome, Dusty.
Hello.
Yeah, is it possible, how do other people hear you? My husband wants to go on his computer and hear you.
Sure. If he goes to the website, Ustream, the letter U, Ustream.tv.
Okay, let me put that on my, I'll bring you back up here on email. Okay, if I just send him your link, he should be able to do that, right?
I believe so, yes. If you send him the link, he should be able to go and hear his lovely wife on the radio.
I guess he wants to hear what I'm saying about him.
He wants to know.
That's always the way it is.
He wants to make sure you're not talking behind his back.
Yeah.
Just be sure that you don't say anything in front of his face.
Okay, so the link is Ustream.tv.
Hold on, I don't know where he went. I just sent you the link to the radio show so you can get it on your computer. I had to go paste him down.
Not a problem.
Okay.
And of course, the key word, if he wants to search that site, is the Mick Show Cam, C-A-M. So he shouldn't have any problems getting there.
Okay. He'll come and disturb me again if he does.
No more disturbances.
Oh, no more? Okay.
Now, I think I have to apologize to you because I think I booked you a bit premature. I've been trying for several weeks to get you on the show, and we've been playing tag, and we finally got you on. But I think it's a bit premature because I'm just now in the midst of reading one of your books, and we've got 4 books to talk about. So we're going to have you on again in the future.
Oh, that sounds like a good idea.
So, starting off with, the book that I have been reading is your biography, The Lady is a Stripper.
Yes.
Okay. What was the first book that you published?
How to be a professional stripper.
How to be a professional stripper. I wanted to put everything in chronological order, because your first book was How to be a Professional Stripper.
Yes.
Then... which I have not read yet, but in reading your second book, The Lady is a Stripper, I'm reading this and thinking, this is a blueprint for reasons not to become a stripper. Because of all the experiences that you've had, some positive, but a lot of negative. You've experienced a lot of hardships in your life, and this book is fascinating. You don't hold back. You really let it all out as to the things you've experienced from your childhood on up to the present.
Well, I did hold back some stuff,
Well, you did.
But you shouldn't be able to tell it. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't tell us where the bodies are actually buried, but but it is. When I read this book, the one thing that just keeps going over and over and over in my mind is movie. This is a movie. Somebody needs to option this book and make a film out of it, or at least a television drama. You know, I'm going to have to try to get in touch with somebody.
Well, you know, there's a lot of books out there now. You know, books about strippers, and both the ones that are, you know, starting in recent years and in past years. There's so many of them out there that maybe it's overdone. I don't know. Well, I wonder that. I've had other people say that, but, you know, trying to get something published is tough enough, but trying to go any further with it, really tough.
Right. No, I understand. But all the trials and the tribulations and everything from your childhood onward, I keep every page that I keep turning, I just keep going, you're kidding me. Oh my God, you're kidding me. And I was thinking,
the idea is to live a good enough life that as you get older and Social Security is no longer there, that you should have enough stories that you can get people to feed you peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, so you'll tell them the stories and you won't starve.
I like that.
And you've got the stories. It's. I'm telling you, like I said, I just keep turning the pages, and I'm like, oh my! I just feel. I can't believe. I just feel like what a sheltered life I've had. You know, this is. I mean, it's unbelievable. I can't fathom. The whole book. It just screams out the word survivor. You are a survivor.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I'm just fascinated by it. And, you know, and of course I see you on Facebook. You have a Facebook page, Dusty Summers. We would encourage everybody to go there and check out her page and add her as a friend.
And like her.
And like her.
Oh, absolutely. You must like me.
Yeah.
We love you.
Okay.
So, okay, before we get into the publications, let's talk about social media in general. Let's talk about the Facebooks and the MySpaces and all that. What kind of an impact has that had on you over the past several years?
Well, I got active on MySpace for a while, but it didn't seem like it really went anywhere. And then when Facebook came out, I was probably a little bit slow getting on until everyone kept saying, you know, you got to do this, you got to do that. But it has brought people that I haven't heard from in many years. You know, some dancers who used to work for me.
Yes.
Some dancers I used to work with. And, you know, it can be inconvenient sometimes. Some people you don't really want to reconnect with. There's a reason why you're no longer connected. But for the most part, it's been very exciting. It's like getting all your friends back again. You know, how you lose track. And I just think it's been really very interesting.
And in a sense, it would also have to revive the burlesque side of your career.
Absolutely. It's not just the burlesque side. It's also revived the magic side. It's actually revived my career, period, because I had really taken everything. I had sold most of my magic about, I guess 5 or 6 years ago. Now I'm buying it back. I threw all of my costumes in a dumpster about 8 years ago. Because, you know, no one's even doing burlesque anymore. This was before the internet became so popular. I had no idea anybody was interested, period.
Can you believe the number of young women that are approaching you and contacting you now, wanting to learn from you the ways of burlesque?
It is really amazing, and it's fun talking to them about it and encouraging them. But the world has changed so much from when I was active in burlesque.
Right.
Their challenges are far greater. I don't believe very many of them can make a living in burlesque as we know it.
True. I'm sorry to interrupt. I think for them it's more of a hobby.
Yes.
I think that these women that I see on Facebook, that there's one or two locally that we know, and that's how, and by looking at their Facebook pages, how I connected with you. And I thought, oh, who is Dusty Summers? Let me check out this. This is a woman who actually knows, that has a history, but and who has actually done it. And these girls are just wanting to experience burlesque. I think that they want to experience the sexier, sensual side of it, as opposed to the gratuitous sex that is expected in strip clubs today.
I absolutely agree with that, because what the Gentlemen's Club, I believe that's what they're called now.
Yeah.
The lap dancing, if that's what it was when I started, there was no such thing. But if that had been the way it was when I started, I would have never started.
Right.
So, and a lot of the women that are involved in burlesque now, neither would they. That's just not their thing. But feeling sexy and acting sexy without this I think maybe used kind of feeling.
Right.
They're doing it to bring about the smile and the flirtatiousness and so on. They're not doing it for the bucks and the G-string or whatever.
The bucks are nice, though.
Well, the bucks are nice, and I understand that they are making an awful lot of bucks. I spoke to some here in Las Vegas that work in some of the gentlemen's clubs, and they're making $1,500, $2,000 a night in tips. Well, that's way more than I made in a week, And they don't have to have. I shouldn't say they don't have to have. They don't have the wardrobe and so on that we had. But I don't think they're having the fun we had either.
Right, exactly. I mean, you and we had spoken to April March. Yeah, have you met April?
Yes, I've worked with April a couple of times up in Boston, in Boston's Burlesque Expo.
At the Expo, okay, yeah.
And she's been down here to the Exotic World Burlesque thing, too. So yeah. I've gotten to know her and her daughter, Cerise.
And and you're echoing the same sentiments as her. Is that and you would have to agree that the sexual revolution of the mid to late '60s pretty much killed burlesque.
It killed burlesque. It took it a while to do it. It was in. It just kind of tromped all over it eventually, but little by little, it died on the vine. And I remember going into a club in San Francisco, where I was actually born in San Francisco, and I've never worked there, because by the time I even went through San Francisco, they were already jaded. I walked into a club that had a very long, narrow club, and there was a girl dancing in the total nude at the back of the club, several gentlemen at the bar drinking, and nobody paying her a bit of attention.
Mm-hmm. Well, they weren't required to have an act anymore, I mean, you and April and all of these women, you all conceived and created an act on stage. And for you, you were doing magic.
Yeah, and we mostly had more than one act. You couldn't, for a while, you could go out, when they still had the live bands, you pretty much did essentially the same show, whether you were doing 3 or 4 shows, you were doing essentially the same show each time. You may have changed your costume, but as music went to the jukebox and the reel-to-reel tapes, and then eventually the cassettes,
right,
then you begin having 4 or 5 different sets of music, and you may have had a half a dozen or more different themed shows. I had a cowboy show, which also had magic and fire in it. I had the regular straight strip, walking around, dipping and bowing and flirting and having great fun, and varieties of magic. So there were, several different things there.
And this is the thing that I always like to hear, is the fact that back then there was always a live band playing. That's what I find so interesting.
Yeah, in the beginning there were live bands all across the country, and the band kind of gave you an energy, and the whole thing an energy that you can't really get from taped music because depending on what was going on, it's kind of like inventing as you go. If you had a band that had a strong drummer in it, you might be doing a little more shimmying and so on. If you had another band with perhaps